Yes, people. It's your one and only king from the Kings of Conversation. It's been a long time. Obviously, it's been this corona thing, so man, I've been on this lockdown thing. So, how's lockdown affected me? Wow. Obviously, the corona thing's terrible. People are dying. What's England on now? 40,000 people. But the lockdown, me personally, is actually, I've enjoyed it. I made the most of it with my family. I've been hugging and kissing my kids goodnight from since it started. As I've been working from since I was 15, 41 now, and I ain't really had much time off. Not time off like this. I'm fortunate to have a couple of adults helping me in my house, so money issues was not really there. Shopping was done way before we was on lockdown. So I've been exercising in my garden, gardening with my sister, playing Monopoly with the kids, playing outside games, keeping fit, keeping strong. I've lost one friend that was a security guard, but I know a few people that's lost a lot of people. And my condolences go out to all of them, and big up Sean, gonna be missed. But yeah, as I said, corona, terrible thing. This lockdown thing, I can't really complain. As I said, I'm a youth worker and I'm a security guard, so I think I'm going to be one of the last two open. So I'm taking each day as it comes. As I said, I'm not complaining. As I said, to stay in and watch your kids grow is a blessing to me. So that's how lockdown has affected me. As we know, as I said to you just a minute ago, lockdown has taken 40,000 people in England, and I'm sure we're on 500,000 worldwide. But there's bigger things at issue right now. Very bigger things at issue. We talk about racism. How many lives has racism taken, really? How many? Because it's more than 500,000. We ain't counting the slaves that were thrown over the ships on their way to America. We're not talking about the lynchings. We're not talking about how many people have died in custody. We're not talking about how many innocent people now have died on camera live, and still nobody's paying the price for murder. So are we really serious? Are we? Yes, corona is a major thing right now. It's like 4 months old, 5 months old. Slavery centuries old. Being held down is old news.
We are a physical representation of our support for George Floyd.
Bang on them! Bang on them! Bang on them!
We are a physical representation on our support for Sandra Bland.
Bang on them!
We are a physical representation on our support for Trayvon Martin. We are a physical representation of our support for Stephen Lawrence. For Mark Duggan. It is very, very important.
I'm angry about him. But that ain't the first time we've seen this. We live in England and we see racism. Was it not the last riots, Mark Duggan, when he got shot? So this ain't nothing new, England. White people, you got to start understanding us and not judging us. I said, if you get to know us, you might see something different. I was only on holiday in February before this lockdown happened, and we was having a jolly time round by the pool. I met this family from Crewe. I think the dad name was Paddy. And his son, innocently, nice little guy, innocently asked my son, how come your skin's black? That's in 2020. I live in Birmingham City, in England. It's one of the most diverse cities in the world, because I have travelled. And when I say for cultures, there's a lot of cultures that live in this one city. So for me, right now, like, my manager phoned me yesterday and her manager phoned her the day before asking, can Birmingham City Council put up a message to all the young people. Now, me as a part-time youth worker, I don't need to prove myself. I've been doing this for 14 years. There's nothing I need to prove to the kids and the youth that know me and the centres that I work in to let them know that I care about them, because they're fully aware. I live in the areas that they live and I see them regular. So they know. So I'm not going to pretend like some puppet on a string and shout out Birmingham City Council care about the youth, because I feel like they don't. The cuts that's been happening year after year after year after year after year, we've been letting them down each year after year after year after year. And the managers that do care and the part-time workers that definitely care have been holding the fort. So I'm not going to blame my manager. And even my managers, I feel like they could do more because I don't see them on the front line enough. But the government who funds us, Mr. Johnson, he owes us a lot. He owes us a lot. And we are losing the youth. And this protesting what's going on is long overdue. And I hope we can keep it all Martin Luther King. I really do. I hope we can keep it all Martin Luther King. But if Malcolm X has to come out and we have to do this by any means necessary, then so be it. Because at the end of the day, you can't tell me that violence is not the answer when England, Spain, Portugal, the Dutch, the French have invaded countries and they haven't gone over there politely asking, can we come to your country and relax and chill? They've murdered, they've killed. So you're going to complain about a couple of shops getting smashed up and a couple of goods getting taken. What about all the lives that have been taken? You can look on the map right now and see how many countries are colonized. And that ain't being done that's being done by bullying tactics and war. But we're quick to call black people animals because we're trying to make a statement right now. As I said, how many mothers have cried? How many fathers are in prison right now doing sentences that are so ridiculous? 3 strikes and you're out, especially in America. I live in England. I'm fortunate to live in England, a more politer, racist country where they don't do it blatantly in your face, where you don't see black men hanging from trees like they have seen in America. But it still exists here. I said black men have still died in custody. And to me, as I said, all lives do matter. But when you're invited to a table for a meal and there's a nice cake right in the middle of the table, this is what England do to ethnic minorities. They invite you to the table. They invite you in their house. But you see that one piece of cake in the middle, you can't have none. It's all about the crumbs. And then that's what the youth are fighting over right now. The youths go on about ups this and ups that. Their ups are not the next man on the block. Their ups is the system. The ups is education that's letting them down. The ups is the government that's not funding them to put money back into the youth service, which is needed. The problems with all the black men my age locked up and all their kids out there lost, and then the drug dealers becoming their fathers because they have no father figures. The girls that are accepting abuse because their dads are not there to protect them.
This message is specifically for black men. Black men. Black men, we need to take care of our black women.
Don't get me started on Black Lives Matter. Because at the end of the day, we've been suffering for too long. And I said, they can bring us up if they want to, and we don't want the whole cake. We just want a slice. And myself, if you think that I'm racist or I'm all for black people, you couldn't be far from the truth. My mum was mixed race, dual heritage if you want to be politically correct. My grandma is white. My granddad, from my mum's side, is African from Sierra Leone. The whole of my dad's side are Caribbean. So I'm mixed. So my view is open. I respect a person on how they respect me. Whether they're male, female, Sikh, Hindu, Oriental, black, Hispanic, white, I do not care. I don't care what religion you are and I don't care what race you are. I take you on face value. And when I meet that person and I know that person, that's how I judge that person. So all of this thing, yeah, as I said, I've never been called a white man even though I got white in my family. So I'm not fighting sides, I'm fighting what's right. Right now I'm seeing all this protesting and I'm seeing white people, because everybody's been sitting down at home on this lockdown. You've actually seen an injustice and you can't ignore it. And while we're on lockdown, if you still don't understand why people are so angry, go put on Netflix and put on When They See Us. If you want a slight clue, watch a film like Pride, watch a film like Freedom Writers. Start getting some understanding instead of being ignorant. Because right now, things have to change. You listen to Tupac, I listen to Tupac regular. I call him the rapping politician. Anytime we get any momentum, whether it's Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, John Lennon, who told you to imagine if something was different, these people end up dead. So you tell me, is this world hiding from good? Because as I said, I'm not personally a religious guy, but I think we live in hell.
What do you think that these protests are going to achieve or trying to achieve though? Because with this lockdown, that's why there's probably a lot of people out protesting, you know. If the economy was moving and everyone was at work, do you think it'd be this kind of like intense?
Probably not. Because the world, as I said, the world is watching now. You can't ignore the truth. As I said, we're living in the 2020s now. Technology is everywhere. They can put out propaganda, but really and truly a phone can tell you the truth now.
How long can we continue to protest?
The momentum's got to keep on going. Like I said, if you believe in the dream like Martin...
In what will go down in history as the greatest demonstration for freedom in the history of our nation. I have a dream that my 4 little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character.
If you believe in the dream, then we've got to keep on protesting. But where did the dream get Martin in the end?
I feel we have to protest with a plan.
There has to be an end plan. There has to be an achievement. Not just, there you go.
Like,
we need...
What kind of plan?
Where black people can get loans and start up businesses. Where we can sit on the board tables with the credentials that we have. How many black people are really in Oxford? How many black people are really in Cambridge? The places that matter, the places that when you've got that on your CV, you know you're going to get the job. How many people in America with all these universities have really paid their way to get to the top? Because it was exposed last year where the woman was saying that her daughter's on the rowing team. Her daughter never even rowed a boat in her life, but that's what she got her scholarship for. How long's that been going on for?
So you're talking about like privileges and things
Come
like
on,
that.
we know there's white privilege. It's a fact.
These white people who are complaining about racism and discrimination towards white people. Just being white gives you some type of advantage, okay?
As I said, as a black person, when you go to work, it's like you have to leave your culture at home. You can't be yourself. I was lucky when I was young. My first job was in a Caribbean bakery. So no matter how intimidating, how threatening I looked, these people knew who I was. They got to know me straight away because they come from that world.
So have you ever been through racism yourself?
I've been through racism from that day I was probably 13, 14, stop and search. I've been told by an elderly person when I was 11 years old to go back home. And when that person told me to go back home, I actually went home to my mum and I told my mum, and my mum said, "Why have you come in?" And I said, "The woman told me to go back home." I had no understanding of what she was even telling me. Because when somebody tells you to go home and England's the only place you know as home, where are you meant to go? I've only been to North Africa and I don't think I've been to the Africa that I need to go to. I've never even been to Jamaica. Ow. Oh! Probably the closest I've been to Jamaica is New York, Jamaica, Queens, and Carnival, and Notting Hill. And just going to my nan's house.
So do you think you've seen a change since 1992 till 2020?
How can you see a change when it's 2020, footballers are still getting racially abused? Where's the change? It's just accepted. If you're the black guy sitting at a bar and your four white mates say an inappropriate joke and you don't pull them up about it, they're going to keep on saying that joke.
We've had the protest before, you know. I kind of think it's something feels different about this one.
So you're saying it's bigger than the Million Man March?
It just feels different. Something feels different.
It's global, bro.
I don't know if it's because, like...
Different races involved?
Nah, I don't know if it's because we're on lockdown and there's a lot of people available now. So,
people are seeing more than
a lot of people are seeing it. Social media, so, people are seeing it.
This is global, bro.
It just feels a little bit different from... We've had protests, we've had marches before. Do you know what I mean? People come out. But I don't know, I just sense something different here.
So do you think it's more Black Lives Matters or politics? Because they're two different
I think you have to look at it all as a collective. Personally, you have to look at it as a collective because the political shift, right, is institutional racism that we're, dealing with. It's deep rooted. It's rooted in education. If you think about the lockdown now, like, kids from deprived areas, right, are going to be affected the most from this lockdown because they've been out of school. So we're looking at the lasting impact on, that generation of kids. Whether you're black or white, if you live in a deprived area, you're going to be disadvantaged now because you're not in school. So these are the kind of issues that I think we should really look at.
I just said, these protests, I myself went up to the one in the city centre and there's a different feeling in the air in this one. And so you turn on the news, it's not only just happening in England, and you think the man never died in England, and they're making a big deal about this one. They're making a big deal about it in Australia. Why are they making a big deal about it in Australia? Because of the Aborigines.
How did you leave feeling, what was you feeling when you left?
Well, I took my kids.
March.
I took my kids
to
because...
reflect on it now. What's your reflection?
I took my kids and I said I have to bring them because if this is history changing, they have to be part of it because they're the future. I'm just the guy that's making sure I'm out here for them, making sure I keep my freedom, striving every single day to keep my freedom. But at the end of the day, like you just said, this ain't just today. This is going to be what's going to happen tomorrow and next year. And is it just going to go back to the same as soon as we stop talking and stop? The momentum has to keep going. We need to make equal workforces.
I think discussions have to be done like with the right people now, because I do think that the marching and the protesting is good. That's one thing. But I think that they should start. Probably are having them already, but it's about having discussions now with the right people that can influence or make change. And that's in the institution.
As I said, I think Boris now has to open up his eyes. I said, we can't have leaders that are leading us nowhere.
But even if you look at it, then your local MP, how many people know who the local MPs or how to contact the local MP or who voted this local MP in? Because these are the type things now that these people are in a position to change things for us. And those are the conversations. If you speak to the youths in your youth club and you said to them, who's the local MP, how much of them can say who it is?
They wouldn't have a clue.
That's
I said all young people are really interested in, from what I see at my youth centres, is materials, music, who's the baddest, and who their ups are. And then the very few, like I said, I remember when I used to work in this youth centre and we used to be able to get them forklift licenses and security badges and help them get their driving licenses, direct them in the right places. We don't get that no more. We don't get that support. And to be honest with you, it's really happened from since the Conservative Party have taken over. So I don't know what I can do personally besides do what I'm doing now. As I said, I'm not highly paid, but all I can do is be truthful with the youth, and all I can say to the young people from Birmingham City Council is we apologise. And I said that don't come from the bottom level. I think that needs to come from the top and above. Because we're down here on ground level. I know centres that are open right now only because of volunteers. And they've been volunteering for 3 years, and then you're telling me they can't employ somebody after volunteering their free time for 3 years and show them something different. And even then, doing this, especially the last 6-7 years, I can say young people have come to me and said, King, we love your job, man. We love to be able to do what you do. And I say, yeah, man, you have to just come volunteer. But in the new millennium, I haven't been able to offer them nothing. Even if they volunteer for 3 months to 3 years, there's no goal at the end. So when you got a young person now who needs to help mum pay the bills or set an example because they're a young father or they want to go and do things, or go on holidays, they haven't got the means to go and do that. So then, King, can't even stay here no more, you know. Man, I have to go and get a job, and I tried. And what can I say? There's nothing I can say. I can't phone my boss and say to my manager, this guy's really good at youth work. Is there any way we can get him a job in the youth service?